This is the beautiful island of Mull, which once a year plays host to the Tour of Mull Rally. The island is a centre of natural beauty, and travellers come from far and wide to appreciate the spectacular scenery and wildlife. The main town on Mull is Tobermory, with its multicoloured shops, restaurants, hotels and houses. It's also the starting point for many of the wildlife trips that include whale and dolphin watching. Other popular places include Duat Castle, Calgary Bay and Deveg Village, the ideal place to meet some of the locals over a wee dram or two. But for 1 week in October, the island becomes the mecca of rallying, as thousands of marshals, competitors, organisers and enthusiasts all gather for the Tour of Mull Rally. This is the 35th Phillips Tour of Mull Rally, and in true tradition, the weather had been appalling in the weeks prior to the start. But as the first cars arrived at the Tobermory distillery for scrutineering, it was more like a late summer's day. With the capacity entry that had been full from the start, it would be a long day for the event scrutineers, as they had to ensure that all vehicles were safe, but also they were on the lookout for the best presented car. The event would be split into 3 main legs, on Friday night, Saturday daytime and Saturday night, and would start at 8 o'clock on the Friday night outside the distillery. Stage 1 would start just up the hill out of Tobermory, running over to Derveg. Stage 2 would go up the hill road alongside Loch Tuath before finishing just outside Saarland. A service at Craigmuir would be followed by a relatively long drive out to stages 3 and 4 at Bunnison. These would be followed by 2 stages around Loch Scridane and Loch Nakeal, before the final stage around Calgary Bay. Callum Duffy is the local hero of this event, having scored his 3rd victory on the island in 2003. With his brother Dell alongside, they were looking for number 4 in their immaculate Mark II Escort. Duffy was instantly on the pace on the opening 2 stages. Throwing the Escort sideways on the hairpins, he was certainly keeping the crowds happy. He set 2nd fastest times on both stages to head into service in 2nd overall. Having won this event an incredible 10 times, Neil McKinnon is another local hero expected to do well in his Subaru Impreza. and sure enough, in just 2 stages, he managed to pull out a 15-second advantage over Duffy. Dougie Hall has had some good results in 2004 in his Ford Focus, having finished in the top 4 on both the Manx and Ulster rallies. But he was back in a Mitsubishi Lancer for Mull, along with a new co-driver, Scott Bainbridge. 5th fastest on stage 1, the new pairing seemed to be getting to grips with each other and the car. And by stage 2, they recorded 3rd fastest overall.
Slippy wet maybe. Left 5, over crest. 30, crest. 50, right 2, flick left 2. Slippy maybe. Right 2, flick left 2. And turn left 1. Into left 4, 30, right 2 plus camber, right 2 over plus camber, right 2 on small crest, into right 4 plus flying finish, steady, flying finish there.
Ah, I slowed up a lot bit soon then. I thought it was 3.
Well done.
Another local regular competitor, affectionately known as Jock the Bull, James McGillivray, has put in some remarkable performances over the past few years in a variety of vehicles. For this year, he has some very capable machinery in the guise of a Group N Subaru Impreza. He would ease himself into the event on the first 2 stages and seemed quite happy at the first passage control.
Steady, I would say, for want of a better word, it's really fast, but we've got to get to service and then see what the rest of the boys are doing, basically. Yeah. No, it's quick, very quick.
Like many others, John Swinscoe has succumbed to the attraction of turbo 4-wheel drive in an attempt for outright victory. Having previously finished in the top 5 in a Mark II Escort, he was expected to go well in this ultra-modern machine. But despite being down in 15th place, he seemed quite happy when we asked him about the conditions on the stages.
Very good at the moment, yeah, cracking. Apart from the odd stream that's still going across which you'll never get rid of. And they do catch you out because it goes on for another 100 yards.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So yeah, it's alright at the moment.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
See you now.
Victory has eluded another local star, Eddie O'Donnell, despite the enthusiasm of both him and his loyal supporters who helped put in such an effort into the preparation of his car. 2 4ths and a 3rd overall are little reward for all their efforts, but this year could be different. Certainly on board and not using pace notes, it looked quick. McKinnon completed the stage in 6 minutes 47 seconds, but how far off would Eddie be?
Okay, Donald.
Aye, 7:12.
It was actually 7 minutes 13 seconds, but that would be good enough for 7th overall. John Cope has had some impressive results in the past. 2nd overall 3 years ago and 4th 2 years back was followed by a crash on the opening leg last year. This year he's got a new car, a Subaru Impreza WRC. Certainly the machinery is capable, and on the opening stage things were looking good.
And caution, gravel, long right 4. And left 2, don't cut. 50, left 1. 50. Long right 8. 50. Flat right into open hairpin left. Into right 6. And crest. And right long. And crest. It's a long left 9. Time is right. crest and left 7. Into left 2. And 50 into turn, left 9. Right 2 on crest to the phone box. Wet.
John and brother Tony were third fastest here and then sixth fastest on stage 2. At the passage control going into the first service, John seemed cautious as to how well he was doing.
John, 2 stages down, how's it going? First stage was a bit gentle, I think, we were a bit too cautious. Second one we nearly caught Swinney on that one, so yeah, okay. Getting more confidence in the car.
Excellent.
So
Long way to go though tonight.
long way to go, yeah. I need to learn how to use this thing a bit better yet before we start pushing hard, but it's coming.
Excellent.
Nearly caught him.
Stealing the limelight was George Breen, that's the one in the kilt. She's navigating in probably the most unusual car on the event, and we'll see that later. But she was just posing for Tony Bardi in his Nissan Sunny GTI-R. Tony also made a good start, despite a poor tyre choice, as he explained.
We took the wrong tyre choice. We went with the intermediate and made a mess of them on the first one, so that was a bit more of a cruise as well. We only got here, so it's better than last year.
Paul Kirtley was nearly a full minute down on the leaders on the opening stage, but that didn't seem to be worrying him.
We've had turbo problems all the way through the first 2 stages, so we've lost quite a lot of time. Just hasn't got to pick up and go. So I'm just trying to drive as tidily as possible, as quickly as possible, without much braking, you know. But it's been great fun. It's great to be back, and it's not raining. I mean, what more could you want? Happiness abounds.
A winner in 2002, Daniel Harper returns with a brand new car in the shape of the new BMW Mini. Having only completed 1 event since being built, Daniel was still full of confidence, reckoning the car was actually quicker in a straight line than his previous Mitsubishi Lancer. And sure enough, the Mini Sport car was quick from the start, setting 4th fastest time on the opening stage. Stage 2 looked good as well, but Daniel was laughing when we caught up with him at passage control.
Apart from an excursion in that one, all right. Yeah, we had a bit of an off in there, but we managed to get away with the soft stuff, as you say. Good. So, yeah, it's got a few handling issues with the car, but yeah, apart from that, it's very, very good.
Excellent.
1600cc front-runner Doug Weir has a newly built Mark II Escort to replace his class-winning Nova from last year, but he already had worries with low oil pressure. No problems on stage 2 though, as he recorded the 9th fastest time.
Tight hairpin right, double caution. Hair, flat left, flat right, keep right into medium 90 left, damp, downhill medium right.
Also making a good start was the crew of car 14, Dave Miller and Andrew Bailey in their Impreza, lying 4th after 2 stages. This year, the 2300 Club launched a new yearly scholarship aimed at helping young drivers gain valuable experience on this unique event. And the winner was 23-year-old George Collister from the Isle of Man. He received a free entry and £2,000 towards his costs. He is guided by fellow Manxman Robert Fagg. The Manx pairing would head into service in 54th position. After servicing Craignure, the cars headed west to 2 short stages near Bunnason. Once again, McKinnon set the pace, but it was Bardi in the Nissan who was pushing here, losing only a second over the 2 stages. We'll now take a comparative look at 3 cars over the short stage: the Subaru WRC of Cope, the Mini of Harper, and the Escort of O'Donnell. The main voice is that of Tony Cope.
1, go.
Yep, I'm coming here.
Straight over jump, 150. Straight over jump, immediate right 1 and immediate right 9 at pole. Immediate right 9 at pole. 50. Flat right. 100. Flat left past the ball box. 50. Flat left 50, left 5. Into long flat right. 150.
Yep.
Very long flat right, up 100. Very long flat right, up 50. Straight at gate. 50, caution deceptive, left 5. Into right 2. Flat left. Right 1, duck cut. 50. Straight up crest, caution medium time, left 9. And right 4. And right 2. 100 through the gate. Left 4. Right 2. Into right 2. 50, left 1. 50. Left 150, right 2. 50 straight on crest. And slippy right 9. 50. Flat right. Left 1 continues. Flat right, immediate right 8 through the gate. 150. Up into right 9. 50. Flat left on crest. And caution right 2, bump into left 4. And right 8 lower flank finish, left 7 opens. 3 dead.
The Cope's actual time was recorded as 2 minutes 59 seconds. So, after stages 3 and 4, McKinnon still had the advantage from Duffy by 21 seconds. But on the next 2 stages, Duffy started his fight back, 4 seconds quicker on stage 5 and then 2 on stage 6. McKinnon took the final stage of the night to end the leg with a 19-second advantage. Climbing 3 places up the leaderboard on the final stages of the night, James McIlliveray had put in a great performance and would head for his home in Salem in 3rd place overall. Dougie Hall and Scott Bainbridge were really starting to work together well, and on board it looked good.
Opens into left 3 minus, jump bridge. Then right 3 minus, Wesley cross. Then right 3, left 5 short over jump, 60.
They would end the leg in 4th overall, despite some rather close calls, but Dougie didn't seem too bothered.
16, line 5 narrow bridge. Ooh, 40, 30, right 5 short, flick left 4, flying finish. Stop. Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
That was close to that wall then. Wasn't it?
Aye, not too close though.
No.
Dave Miller looked set to end the night in 3rd place until the final stage when he dropped over 20 seconds to his rivals with a noisy gearbox. But his 5th overall was still a good position to be in going into day 2. John Cope still wasn't fully at ease with his Impreza, and he dropped a place on the final 2 stages to end the night in 6th overall. The flame-spitting Nissan of Tony Bardi was probably the most impressive car in the dark, and it wasn't just for show, as he had climbed from 12th place on stage 2 to end the night in 7th. Despite driving the last stage on a puncture, the BMW Mini S of Daniel Harper still managed a top 10 time. And with some small changes to the suspension, he was now happy with the car's handling. 8th overall was a great debut for the Mini on Mull. Despite the lights arcing out on some of the bigger jumps, Eddie O'Donnell was really flying. When the lights went out again, Eddie thought he might know what was causing it, but it was still a worry. Rounding out the top 10 was the Mitsubishi Evo of John and Paula Swinscoe. They had been steadily improving all night, and just managed to get ahead of the noisier Evo of Billy Bird in car number 15. Others to keep an eye on going into day 2 would be car 41 of Mick Bryant, just outside the top 10. Car 25, the 1600cc Corsa kit car of Mark Durham, currently leading the class. Car 84, the 205 Rally of Duncan Cameron, the current leader of Class A, ahead of car 71, the Mini of Jim Brindle. And the most unusual car, the Tomcat 100 Range Rover of John Coburn, and that kilt-wearing lassie from the start, George Breen. Day 2 would give the crews little time for a rest or maintenance, with 5 stages before the one and only service halt. Followed by just 2 more stages, a reverse of the previous night stages around Gryburn and Loch Screedane. Large crowds had gathered on the hill road as this was the only stage to be run twice in the daylight. McKinnon had retired in the opening stage with a suspected blown engine, and so first interview were the local heroes Callum and Del Duffy. They were fastest on stages 9, 10 and 11, and were still in the top 5 on stage 12, but dropping oil pressure was a cause for concern.
Slippy under trees. Slippy open left 3, tightens 2. Tyres steady. 50, right 2 plus. Left 5 open, left 5 plus long. And right 7 over crest. 60, right 1 plus.
Dougie Hall climbed into second spot on stage 9, but on the very next stage the car coasted to a halt, ending a very promising run. So that put James McAliveray in his Group N Subaru into second overall, but for how long was anyone's guess as he clouted a bank around Calgary. And then the anti-lag stopped working, leaving his service crew with plenty of work to do.
Into caution, right 3 over crest, don't cut. 50, crest and crest, 50, right 2, and caution flat left.
John Cope was steadily improving stage by stage and was absolutely delighted to set a new stage record on the lock stage in the daylight of 6 minutes 32 seconds. Going into the final leg, he would be third overall, but only just, as he tied on times with the Nissan Sunny of Tony Bardi.
50, left 4 over bridge, and flat right, 75, left 1 on long crested post, 250, right 5, 50, left 1, and right 1, and long left 2, 50, left 9, don't cut, 50, right 9, and left 1, into left 4 over crest, and right 4, and left 1 on crest, immediate right 4, left 1 on crest, immediate right 4, into long left 2, and right 3.
The Nissan of Bardi was going extremely well in the warm conditions, and apart from stage 12, he was taking time from Cope on every stage, and this was despite losing his first gear. Daylight also brought some new names onto the leaderboard. David Taylor and Mark Andrews set 4 top 10 times on the day stages in their Impreza to end the day 9th overall. This was certainly helped by their 4th fastest on the second run over the hill road. Ian and Neil Coleman got as high as 7th overall before retiring at the end of stage 12. Mick Bryant was struggling, despite having moved up 2 places on the leaderboard to 8th overall. His head gasket was on its way out and would need changing before the final leg. The BMW Mini of Daniel Harper and Chris Campbell certainly looked a little better on the bumps, now that the suspension had been sorted, and consistency was paying dividends, as the small package was delivering the goods in 5th place overall. Eddie O'Donnell was just 1 place behind in his flying Escort, but his day hadn't been without a few heart-stopping moments.
Get around. Close. You alright?
Aye, fine, brand new.
Right, I was sore.
There were plenty of class battles taking place further down the leaderboard too. Leading Class A, it was car 79, the Nova of John Bateson. Second in class was the Peugeot of Duncan Cameron. And in third was the Ford Puma of Alan McLaughlin. In Class B, the Corsa kit car of Mark Durham still had the advantage, but he was being pushed hard by the little Anglia of Mike Storer. Third in the class was another Nova, this one belonging to Chris Patton. Our award for the best effort on the Saturday afternoon stages has to go to Pat Johnson and Graham Harper in their Impreza when they slid off the road here, but almost managed to regain the stage under their own power. Eventually, with a little help from the spectators, they were back on their way, but had dropped out of the top 20. So, going into the final leg, it was the slightly worried Callum Duffy at the top, ahead of James McIlliveray. John Cope and Tony Bardi were as close as it gets in third and fourth respectively, whilst the Mini of Dan Harper was holding position in fifth. Eddie O'Donnell was in sixth, despite his slight off. The Swinskos were in seventh, Mick Bryant was in eighth, whilst two more Subarus rounded out the top 10. Once again, a large crowd had gathered for the start of the final leg, and there were just 5 stages remaining to decide the final outcome. Stage 15 would be a massive 22-miler, taking in Loch Tuath and Calgary Bay. Stage 16 would be another run over the Mishnish Locks before a final service at Craigmuir, and then Loch Screedane and Gryburn before the final 14 miles of Glen Aros. We had a quick chat with some of the top drivers at the restart.
So, I mean, you've got a reasonably comfortable lead.
It is a fairly comfortable lead. It'd be pretty disappointing if I lost that. So
yeah.
My plan is just to carry on going same pace as we're going, because if in the likes of that 22 miler, if you try and slacken off anyway, you'll probably lose concentration. So, yeah, I was comfortable at the pace we're going, so I'm just going to carry on.
What's the plan of action for tonight?
Steady run through the first run and just see how we're lying to Carl and to John Cope after that. That's all we can do, I think, really.
Yeah. Do you think you can push Callum hard enough to maybe force him to make a mistake?
I don't think so, no. Realistically, no. But it's only a puncher, so but we can all hit trouble, that's the difference. You know, it's a fickle old game, this rally. So.
So what's the aim for tonight?
Get to the finish, and hopefully we'll see what happens, but certainly don't go anywhere further back. Just stay either where we are or move forward.
First away into the 22 miler would be Duffy in his Escort, but he was obviously still troubled by his low oil pressure, selecting reverse rather than first gear at the start of the stage. Callum was then constantly asking Dell to keep an eye on the gauge as well as reading the notes.
Into right 6 here, plus left 5, plus right 4. Right 4, into left 4.
James McIlliveray took the bull by the horns and was attacking hard from the start. Ian
Left
Fraser
5.
is on the notes.
Opens. 150. Over bridge. Left 1 over crest. 50. Left 7. Into long right 3 over crest. Left 6 in over jump. 80. Slippy continues. Slippy continues now. Left 6 no cut. Right 4 in. Left 5. Crest and right 5 in narrows. Okay. 35.57.
At the finish, they both seemed happy with their time, and so they should have been. They were 26 seconds quicker than Duffy, stopping the clocks on 20 minutes 56 seconds. We'll let you work out the averages.
20.57. Something about there.
We're under 21.
Whilst the top two were having their own encounter, the battle for third was even closer. John and Tony Cope would have to push as hard as they could to clear a gap from the rapid Nissan of Tony Bardi. But it was good news on the opening stage, as Cope was some 24 seconds quicker. On board in the Mini, everything was looking good, as they set the second fastest time on the 22-mile stage with a time of 21 minutes 12 seconds. Eddie O'Donnell had started the night in 6th place, but as they started the stage, Eddie's door wasn't shut. Not a great start. But then, about halfway through the stage, the engine notes seemed to change. A warning, possibly?
Aye.
This would move everyone up a place and was good news for John Swinsko, despite complaining of a poor tyre choice. 10th fastest on this stage would go to the leading 1600cc Corsa of Mark Durham. Normal service was resumed on stage 16 as Callum Duffy was once again fastest. Back at service, we had a quick chat with Callum.
Callum, you're winning the rally. You've still got quite a good margin in over James. How are you feeling?
Feeling a bit better about the car because we weren't sure how it was going to bear up after this afternoon's incidents and that, but it seems to be okay. And had a good blast through the last stage, and oil pressure stayed up quite nicely, you know. So these are quite short stages, you know, and that there's 3 stages left. So I'm pretty confident. Well, I shouldn't have said that, but I'm hoping the car's going to stay together.
Very good. I don't suppose there's any reason in going for it now. I suppose you'll just be backing off and steady and just a nice run back to home now, is it?
Basically, yes. James will know himself as well. He's not going to take 2 minutes out of someone, you know, over, I can't remember whatever mileage it is, 28 miles or whatever it is. It's pretty unrealistic, you know.
McGillivray was starting to struggle halfway through the second stage as his tyres were starting to go off.
Long left 6, keep in. Eh?
Tyres are short.
Right 6.
But even with this, he still managed 4th quickest and went into the final service 2 minutes behind Duffy in second.
James, we're here, last service, Saturday night, Tour of Mull 2004. You've tried. Do you think we can do it?
Realistically, no. But you never know. We've got under 2 minutes now, so we're hoping for the best, like. So.
How much time did you pull back on? I know you pulled some time back on the long one. How much time did you pull back there?
I think I took 26 seconds off Callum on the long one, but he's taken 14 or thereabouts back on top Dervig, so we're not really getting very far, to be perfectly honest.
You've got 3 more stages left now. 2 you'll probably be very quick on. The third one, it's his home stage, isn't it?
Callum's favourite, yeah. But we can only try and we can put up the times, and he'll beat it probably, but we'll try our best. That's all we can do.
I'm sure you'll push him to the limit. Have you enjoyed Mull?
Yeah, it's been good. It's always good. Mull's always good. And the weather's dry as well, so it's costing us a fortune, but, well, that's it.
50. Very long left 2. Continues over crest.
John Cope was just managing to keep ahead of Tony Vardy, and at the final service he had an 8-second advantage. But would that be enough?
Not yet, no. We'll have to go up Skidane and Gribben and hopefully take a bit more off him, because if he gets an inkling that he can get us, then he'll be at us. So these next 2 I've got to push on, make it secure. So.
What do you think that's down to, your extra speed? Do you think that's down to the new car, or do you think it's down to the diet?
It's definitely down to the new car.
Bardi was playing it cool back in service.
3rd or 4th, I'll be happy.
There's nobody else from behind that can really catch you now, as long as there's no problems?
I think Daniel's over a minute and 40 behind. But it's only a puncher or a spin now.
We watched you on Gribben last night. You seem to be going very, very well. Kicking some very huge flames out the back. It was quite impressive.
That's to keep all the burgers warm who's stood at the side of the road.
We also found Chris Campbell, navigator to Daniel Harper in the Mini.
Going very well tonight, actually. Obviously we had a few bits of problems last night. We had a bit of an off and a puncture, a few bits of suspension problems. We've still got a bit of bouncing around on the back, but it's going well tonight. We're enjoying it now. Solid 5th place by the look of it at the minute, so see how it goes.
Following the tragic loss of his wife Susan in last year's event, Duncan Cameron made an emotional return to the Mull, driving in her memory.
It's been a difficult event to come and start, and a bit of a difficult event to do, but now that we've got this far, we've got a bit further than I thought we might, but we're happy, we're going well, and we're just driving our own rally, just trying to make the most of what we can do. The guys have put a lot of work into the car to get us here, so it's our duty really to try and get to the finish and do what we can for everybody.
So the final battle was on, and ahead were just 3 more stages. All John Cope could do was drive as hard as he dare, but would it be enough? And running ahead of Bardi, he didn't know what was happening behind. Sure enough, Bardi responded to the challenge, taking 2 seconds back on the first. Then a further 6 seconds on the second stage to leave it all equal going into the final run. At the final control, it was an anxious-looking John Cope that we spoke to.
John, you made it to the end. How do you think you've done, fella?
I think we've lost it, to be honest, because we were all square coming into this one, so it was down to the wire, and we don't seem to have done it, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we'll never know until we get to the end, but well done, mate. It's still a good result. Well done to both of you.
Cheers. Thank you, Ron.
But as he pulled clear to wait for Bardi to arrive, there was an unusually long gap, and news filtered through that the Nissan was missing.
John, Tony, amazing. Battle right down to the last stage. Turns out it doesn't like Tony's going to get it.
No, it's not the way I want to finish third, but hopefully this is him. We'll see, shall we?
No, it's John Swinsko.
So it was John Swinsko who would move into 4th overall. But what had happened to Bardi?
Not nice, but that's what it's about.
Which I don't like. At the end of the day, we pushed him into making a mistake, which we don't like to do.
You've been there enough.
We've been there enough.
It was also bad news for the mini crew of Dan Harper and Chris Campbell. Just when a top 5 placing looked safe, the car suddenly jumped off the road. Amazingly, neither member was hurt, but the car was a write-off. The following week, we had a chat with Daniel, who explained what he thought had happened.
We had a little off on screen, stage 17. About midway through the stage, we've either had a rear puncture blowout or maybe a suspension failure on the back, and the car's left the road at over 100 miles an hour.
Daniel, the car's quite a mess. How did you actually manage to get out of that?
Well, it's a bit of a surprise to both myself and Chris, really. When the car landed, obviously we went through the usual of, are we both all right? Yeah, now get out. We both expected him to kick the doors and everything else, but popped the door handle and both doors open, and we just got out. We were highly amazed, really, that we didn't have any sort of major problems in getting out of the car. And now having the car back here and having a good look at it, the safety cell, as you would call it, in the car is absolutely 100% intact. The roll cage has done its job. It's phenomenal, really. It's a credit to safety devices who designed it and built the cage. The car's really, really strong.
So, with both Harper and Bardi out, there were several places to be filled on the final leaderboard. Coming home 10th was the Mitsubishi Lancer of Frosty Smart and Carl Swinnerton. 9th place would go to the Impreza of Pat Johnson and Graham Harper. The WRC Escort of Martin Healer and Sean O'Gorman would finish 8th. 7th would go to the Evo 6 of Billy Bird and Plug Pullen. David Taylor and Mark Andrew would end a great event in 6th overall. Despite struggling with a lack of brakes, Paul Kirkley and John Geldart would take 5th overall. In the classes, long-time 1600cc leader Mark Durham retired within sight of the finish, leaving the superb Anglia of Mike Storer to take the spoils ahead of Chris Patton in the Nova. In Class A, it was the Nova of John Patterson, who just kept ahead of Duncan Cameron in the 205 Rally. and the John Eason Scholarship winner George Collister made it to the finish in a very creditable 33rd overall. But the main attention back at the top was with the Duffys. Would their engine survive the home run down the glen? Certainly outside their own front door, things were looking good. James McIlliveray was still trying as hard as he could, but despite setting the fastest stage time, it was only good enough for second overall. But he was still full of praise for the winner.
James, you tried very hard. Don't think you've done it.
Yep, congratulations to Callum, brilliant result for him, and we are absolutely delighted,
You've tried very, very hard, you've put up a good fight for him. I think everybody's very pleased. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks very much, thanks.
And so the battle was over for another year, as Callum and Del Duffy cruised into the finish for their 4th win on the Tour of Mull Rally.
Party on. Well done. Good gauge. Struggle. It's closing.
Callum, you made it to the end of the 2004 Phillips Tour of Mull Rally. How do you feel?
Tired. Really tired.
You worked very hard on this rally. How do you think you've done? Do you think you've managed to maintain the lead? I know you had quite a big lead going into it, but you're the only people that know that how you've gone in the last few stages.
Yeah, I think we've managed to do it. We didn't have any problems in them few stages, so and he hasn't caught us down there, so he's obviously not taking a minute off us or anything like that. So.
Okay, congratulations, mate. Well done.
There were many untold stories on this event of unsung heroes and their crews, plus all the behind-the-scenes activities that keep an event like this running. But now, all that was left was the parade to the finish ramp, and then the traditional spraying of the champagne. Thanks for watching the best rally in the world.
Sum up the Mull Valley in one word, what would it be?
It's like they say, it's the best rally in the world. It's awesome. It sorts out the men from the boys, that's for sure.
It's a big brotherhood, to be quite honest, but I mean, everybody comes up here. It's an awesome event. Very tight, twisty roads, very difficult, but it's a very addictive thing. Once you've been over these roads once, you just have to keep coming back and back and back. It's brilliant. It's absolutely awesome.